there, Nostalgics. Welcome back to another video here on the Nostalgia Factor. And today, guys, I wanted to do a bit of a different video for all of you. To give you guys an update as well, the next review in the pipeline is going to be The Bouncer on the PS2, which is a pretty obscure square beat-em-up fighting game, which we'll cover probably in the next video. I have a lot to say about that one. But that'll be the next review here on the show. But I figured for this week's video, I wanted to kind of talk about some of the other games that I absolutely love. Now, I've mentioned so many games here on the channel and on other videos and collaborations I've done in the past, like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger. I've talked about these games to death. And if you guys have watched the collection videos, you guys know full well how much I love this series. That being said, though, there are some other games that really did impact my life in various different points that have made it onto my top 10 favorite games list. And I only really wanted to talk about a few for a shorter vlog kind of discussion. I'm not really going to be reviewing these games or anything today. One of these games that I'm going to talk about is actually what I had planned for the 300 subscriber special. But I kind of wanted to give you guys like a brief rundown on how much I love these games, maybe bring some more attention to them to those of you who've never played them before, and kind of get some general thoughts from you guys in the comments if you wanted to talk about your favorite games. So if you guys have any games that you absolutely love, that impacted your life, maybe you have a personal story behind, leave them in the comment section down below. I love doing these types of videos with you guys on this kind of subject matter to just kind of talk for a little bit, and especially when it comes to games that you absolutely love and care about. But if you guys have any games like that, please feel free to let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. Otherwise, guys, the one of two games I want to talk about for this brief vlog today would be Pokemon Emerald. Pokemon as a series needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. It is probably one of the biggest franchises in existence, definitely when it comes to video gaming. And Pokemon Emerald specifically is a game that I grew up with playing when I was a kid. It was the second ever Pokemon experience that I ever had outside of the remakes from Fire Red and Leaf Green, and I absolutely loved every minute of playing this game. It was one of the best games I played when I was a kid. It's probably the game I'm most nostalgic for from my childhood, and it absolutely blew me away with everything it brought to the table. Stunning visuals on the Game Boy Advance, the music was absolutely fantastic despite how repetitive it can get with the trumpets, which is a common criticism. An absolutely fantastic story that really did up the quality of future Pokemon games, having two rival teams, having gym leaders you could go back and battle with stronger teams, a wide variety of Pokemon that you could use, and some of the best starters in the actual series. And quite frankly, I absolutely love the game. It's the same Pokemon gameplay you know, with catching them and having your turn-based RPG combat. And yeah, despite some issues here and there like repetitive music and a lackluster rival, especially compared to some of the other games, I personally like the kinder friendly rival in this game, which might be a hot take for those of you Pokemon aficionados. Sorry, I'm not really into the butthole rival shtick, at least not when it comes to Emerald. I absolutely love the fact that you have a friendly rival who, despite the fact they're not much of a challenge, it really does set a different tone for the game. But I mentioned Pokemon Emerald because it became one of my favorite games, not just because of how quality it really is, as being my favorite Pokemon game as well, but it got me through a lot of tough times throughout my childhood as well. I remember going on long car rides, I remember going through family trips, and no matter what hardships I was facing, whether it be at school or going through a divorced household, because that's something that happened to me personally when I was a kid, Pokemon Emerald helped get me through a lot of these times. And again, it's not just because of the fact that I think it's a fantastic game in so many regards, and it has a lot of features like the Battle Frontier and the Match Call feature and all these other things that the series really hasn't replicated since then. It's the fact that it has a lot of personal significance to me from my childhood. Every time I hear music from this game, every time I see gameplay footage from it, I absolutely just lose my mind. And it brings me back to a pretty happy time of my life, especially when it comes to playing a piece of media like it. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this vlog. Not just briefly highlighting some favorite games of mine, but the personal significance behind it, which is also part of the point of this video. So Pokemon Emerald, to me, despite some of the issues that it has, I absolutely love the game. I am extremely biased when it comes to this one. I don't know if I'll ever make a proper review of it here on the channel, but, you know, we'll see about that in the future. Now, Pokemon Emerald is definitely a major highlight for me. The second last game that I want to talk about for this video, for this brief vlog, is one I'm actually planning on reviewing when the channel hits 300 subscribers. And this is a newer game, an indie title in fact, that recently became one of my favorite games, and that would be Celeste. Celeste needs no introduction. This is probably one of the most popular RPGs of the past decade, releasing originally back in 2018 with beautiful pixel art style, a fantastic soundtrack, tough as nails platforming and gameplay, and a riveting story that focuses heavily on not only your main cast, but on themes of mental health and accepting who you are as a person, as your main character, Madeline, attempts to climb this giant mountain and discovering more about herself in the process while also dealing with her own mental health issues. Celeste is a game that recently, like I mentioned before, became one of my favorite games of all time, and after some consideration, I came to that decision not just because of the fact that this game is fantastic in so many regards, and to me, it might sound cheesy, but Celeste has a lot of personal significance despite not having grown up with it whatsoever, because it is the most accurate theme of mental health that I've seen in a piece of media, period. To get real for a second, mental health is something I am a huge advocate for. I've struggled with a lot of mental health issues throughout my life for varying reasons, and I've been able to get better and improve upon that because of the people around me, because of the support that I have, and eventually having to face a lot of these issues and accept them, which is something every human being is going to have to go through at some point in their lives. And as someone who loves playing video games as a hobby and doing content on them on YouTube for you guys, which I'm absolutely grateful to have an audience I can do this stuff for, Celeste encapsulated all of these things in the video game perfectly, with all the issues that Madeline goes through. Anxiety attacks, trying to please everybody, trying to deal with her own issues, feeling like she's not good enough, not giving up on her goals, and eventually having to accept the dark half of herself in order to fully move on. And there's no other video game that has encapsulated the story or these themes as well as Celeste has. And it is one of the few video games that I will admit I have openly cried to for a lot of the emotional scenes. I usually don't do that when I play games, but Celeste was one of those few that I did. And I love Celeste mainly for the story. The gameplay is fantastic. It is extremely encouraging despite the difficulty, ensuring you that you don't have to go for the collectibles, which are the strawberries, if you don't want to. It has encouraging positive messages all the time, once again going back to the theme of mental health, and has a literal assist mode, where you cannot die, you have infinite jumps for the platforming, and it gives you the option if you just want to experience the story, which I have done before. But I wanted to highlight Celeste without going into too much more detail, because again, when this channel hits 300 subscribers for the official announcement, whenever that may be, that will be the review that I'm doing next, where I will go more in depth on the review of Celeste, obviously for its quality, for both the good and bad parts of it, but also more into the personal significance it has for me. But I wanted to highlight it here in this vlog because it has personally impacted me, and it's helped me to cope better with mental health issues that I've had, and it's just been an amazing masterpiece to experience for the story. And that's the reason why I wanted to highlight it here. And yeah, Celeste it means a lot to me nowadays as well. So if you have not played Celeste, despite the fact that it's a hard-as-nails platformer, if you're into that challenge, please still go out and check it out. You can literally not die in the game if you play on certain modes, if you just want to see the story. The game's not super long anyway, but it's an amazing journey that you will not forget if you're into this type of emotional storytelling. So Celeste is definitely worth of a mention. And that, folks, is really it for this vlog discussion video here today. Like I said, I wanted to highlight 2 games that I love that are some of my favorite games of all time. Ones that I've never really talked about here on the channel, and outside of highlighting a few things about their quality here and there, I want to talk about the personal significance they had to me. And I haven't really done one of these videos in quite a while here, and figured I'd do one for this week. But thank you guys for checking this one out. Please go and check out Pokemon Emerald and Celeste if you haven't already. A good majority of you guys probably have, but for the few you who haven't, definitely go out and check them. They're both amazing games in their own way. But yeah, let me know all your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below, guys, especially when it comes to your favorite games or games that have had an impact on your lives. Maybe they've helped you in some way. Maybe they have some personal significance for some reason. I would absolutely love to see what you guys have to say on in the comments and talk with you about it, or at the very least see them, because part of this video is also connecting out with the gaming community as well, to have as many discussions as possible when it comes to telling our own stories, so to speak, on how certain pieces of media like video games can help us out in our daily lives. So please let me know all your thoughts and feelings in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy watching this video, this vlog, give it a like. It does help out the channel if you guys did enjoy it. And if you guys want to catch future content, including future game reviews, discussions, collection updates, and collaborations, and all the fun stuff we do here on the channel, consider subscribing. And if you do, I hope you enjoy your stay. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much for checking out this week's video. Look forward to the Bouncer review coming out for the next one, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, guys, thank you once again for checking it out. And until next time, this has been Ryan from the Nostalgia Factor saying, keep on gaming.